Hiya everyone, Auntie Lexi here. I used to avoid tactical RPGs because the battles felt like they took forever, and honestly, I get why that turns people off. But years ago, someone shared an idea that helped it all click. In tactical RPGs, each battle is like exploring a whole dungeon in a traditional RPG. That mindset changed everything for me, and today I want to share 10 tactical RPGs that might change how you see them too. If you're into RPGs that do things a little differently and want more recommendations that help you find your next favorite, hit that subscribe button. It helps support a community that values discovery, thoughtful play, and sharing these kinds of experiences together. Final Fantasy Tactics stands out as one of the most celebrated tactical RPGs ever made. What makes it so memorable is how it blends classic Final Fantasy elements, like its deep job system and familiar spells, with a political story packed with drama, betrayal, and unforgettable characters. And now, it's finally getting the remake fans have been hoping for. Final Fantasy Tactics: The Ivalice Chronicles launches on September 30th, 2025, bringing fully voiced dialogue, refreshed visuals, autosave, a tactical view mode for easier planning, and adjustable difficulty options. There's even a classic mode if you want to play it just like the original. You'll be able to play it on modern PlayStation and Switch platforms, Xbox Series X and S, and PC. And if you can't wait for Ivalice Chronicles, Final Fantasy Tactics: War of the Lions is still out there on PSP, iOS, and Android, so you can jump in today. Fire Emblem Three Houses marked a huge shift for the series. It not only welcomed a lot of new players, but it set a whole new bar for what fans expect from Fire Emblem going forward. What really makes Three Houses stand out is how much it leans into its characters. There are 33 recruitable allies, each with their own backstory, allegiances, and quirks. And you'll find yourself wanting to chat with them all just to see what makes them tick. The result? You'll probably spend as much time sharing tea and figuring out everyone's favorite gifts as you will actually fighting battles. It's that mix of strategy, charm, and delightful chaos that makes Three Houses a modern classic. You can play it on the Nintendo Switch. Unicorn Overlord really surprised me in the best way. Vanillaware, the same team behind 13 Sentinels and Dragon's Crown, brought their signature art style and love of strategy together to create a tactical RPG that feels fresh, even for someone like me who's more of a tourist when it comes to the genre. What I loved right away is how the world map isn't just for exploring. It's where the battles actually happen. That makes everything feel more connected and alive compared to other tactical RPGs that whisk you off to a separate battlefield. The combat focuses on building smart unit compositions and setting up priorities ahead of time. So when fights happen, you get to see the strategies you've planned come together. And even if it sounds a little overwhelming, Unicorn Overlord does a great job helping you ease in, with mock battles and tools to experiment. Between the strategic depth and the fantastic music by Hitoshi Sakimoto, this is a game that's easy to recommend. It's out now on modern PlayStation platforms, Switch, and Xbox Series X and S. 13 Sentinels: Aegis Rim is one of those games that sounds like it shouldn't work. Giant mechs, time travel, multiple characters, kaiju invasions, but it somehow comes together in the most brilliant way. You'll command Sentinels to defend the city from waves of kaiju in battles that feel intense but never overwhelming, since you can pause it at any time to plan your moves. Best of all, the game gives you a lot of freedom. You can stick with the combat or dive into the story segments for as long as you want until you hit a block. And it's surprisingly generous about how much you can do before that happens. What really makes this game special, though, is its storytelling. Inspired by classic point-and-click adventure games, it lets you switch between characters and timelines as you piece together a complex and twisty sci-fi mystery. Add in its stunning hand-painted visuals, atmospheric soundtrack, and unforgettable plot, and it's no wonder how 13 Sentinels has earned so much praise. It's available on PS4 and Nintendo Switch. If you've ever wished for a tactical RPG that feels like Persona took a darker, twistier turn, Devil Survivor is absolutely worth checking out. You're dropped into a Tokyo that's been completely locked down, cut off from the outside world, and crawling with dangerous demons. Nobody's coming to help. Your only lifeline is this mysterious gadget that lets you summon creatures to fight by your side. The vibe is tense and eerie in the best possible way, and right from the start, you feel that classic SMT sense of dread, like something terrible could happen at any moment. What's really fun is how Devil Survivor blends grid-based tactics with those familiar turn-based battles fans of Shin Megami Tensei know and love. And the deeper you go, the more the game opens up, giving you tons of customization options to really shape your team and your strategy. The characters you meet are memorable, the stakes feel high, and every choice you make seems to matter. This is one of those games I really hope Atlus brings to modern platforms, because right now, it's stuck on Nintendo DS and 3DS, with no current release on modern consoles. I've always loved mecha games, but Front Mission 3 really stood out because it's set in Southeast Asia, a setting that you don't see often in tactical RPGs, and one that felt special to me. And of course, I have to call out the Wanzers, the giant customizable mechs that are at the heart of the game. What's so cool is that you're not just piloting one, you're commanding a whole squad of them, and you can tweak and tune each one to your heart's content. The game also delivers plenty of political drama, great characters, and those classic Squaresoft twists. I played Shining Force 1 and 2 again a few years ago, and it really reminded me why these games are still so fun and easy to enjoy today. They're incredibly beginner-friendly, no permadeath, and they skip over some of the more complicated tactical systems like facing direction or tough terrain penalties, which helps keeps things approachable without losing all that classic charm. What really stood out to me was how lively and satisfying each battle feels, thanks to those little animations you see whenever a unit attacks or casts a spell. It adds so much personality to every fight. And since these games are often bundled with Genesis or Mega Drive collections that include save states, it's super easy to pick them up again, whether you're trying them for the first time or revisiting them for some cozy nostalgia and old-school goodness. Both games are available on modern platforms through the Sega Genesis Classics Collection, which is accessible on PS4, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch, and PC. Additionally, Shining Force 2 is included in the Nintendo Switch Online plus Expansion Pack service. Tactics Ogre Reborn is a fantastic remake of one of the most respected tactical RPGs out there, updated from the PSP version to make it easier to jump into today. What makes it stand out is how much depth it offers, with flexible character building, meaningful choices, and battles where every move counts. Yasumi Matsuno, the legendary creator behind it, was closely involved in the remake to ensure that it stayed true to what made the original so special. It can feel a lot at first, but once you get into the flow, it's one of the most rewarding tactical RPGs you'll play. You can check it out on modern PlayStation platforms, Switch, and PC. Groundlancer Generations is a unique strategy RPG, where you play as Wayne Cruz, or wait, wasn't the main character named Slain Wilder? Oh, right. That's because Groundlancer Generations actually includes 2 games, Groundlancer 2 and Groundlancer 3. You might call it cheating to put 2 games in one slot, but hey, that's how they released it. Both games are packed with fantastic strategy gameplay and lots of replay value. The combat blends turn-based and real-time elements in a really interesting way. You can take your time giving orders when it's a unit's turn, but once you've decided on a plan, everything plays out in real time. By the time you're managing full squads and huge maps filled with enemies, it really makes you feel like a strategist. Add in compelling stories and romance options that encourage repeat playthroughs, and you've got two excellent games worth checking out. The only downside is that it's currently exclusive to the PS2. Bahamut Lagoon is one of those games I wish more people knew about. It's a tactical RPG from Square that came out in 1996, but only in Japan. And honestly, it's about time Square Enix brought it to the West. You control squads of soldiers paired with dragons, moving them across grid-based maps and setting up your strategies. And if you played Devil Survivor, the structure will feel familiar. When you engage enemies on the map, it switches to a turn-based battle screen where you issue commands and see your squad and dragons in action. One of the coolest parts is raising and evolving your dragons by feeding them different items, which changes how they behave in combat. You can also mess with the terrain, like setting forests on fire or freezing rivers to give yourself the edge. It's a creative, beautiful game that's been stuck in Japan for way too long. I'm highlighting it here because it deserves way more attention, and maybe we can convince Square Enix to finally bring it over. Tactical RPGs can feel a little intimidating at first, but I hope this list gives turn-based RPG fans a great place to start. Whether you're looking for something approachable or ready for a deeper challenge, there's something here worth discovering. I'd love to hear which of these games you're curious to try, or what's caught your eye the most. Let me know in the comments. If you'd like to support my work, you can check out my Patreon at patreon.com/backlogbattle. There's only a few of us trans content creators in the JRPG space who do what I do. So it would mean a lot if you help me keep making thoughtful, inclusive videos like this one. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.